And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Before we get to our great friend, Dr. Lamero, we'll see if our friend Holly from Caldwell is still there. And we'll take her call quickly, and then we'll go to our friend Dr. Lamero. Holly, are you still there?
I am. How are you doing today?
Well, look, we appreciate you listening at KIDO Talk Radio. So last hour we were talking about Papa John's and whether or not he should get the boot. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that too often in America we're seeing this off with their head. Nobody gets any allowance. Of course, it's not good to say anything like he did, but I don't know it's enough to keep him away from who's the name symbol of the whole chain. Didn't he found that himself, Papa John?
He did. He was the Papa.
Yeah. So, hey, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I called in the other day, and there's a book that I recommended called Sovereign Duty by constitutional attorney Chris Ann Hall. And she really makes a good case on why we do not need a constitutional convention. And so I thought Tom Munz made some really good points yesterday on the radio about that. And I went back to replay that for my friend, but it's not on the replay. So I don't know if that was taken out on purpose or if it was just a tech issue. But if you could put that back up, it would be really helpful.
Yes, I've already had Tom Munz ask me, and unfortunately, that was lost, and that was a rare technical snafu. And as I've said, Tom can come on any time and recite what he said about the Convention
Tom called
of
you.
States.
I didn't know that. Okay.
No, Tom's, Holly, people message me all the time on Facebook and such, and I apologize that I don't get back to people all the time, but I do read the messages. So, yes, I've offered Tom time if he wants to call back in tomorrow and recite it, and again, the recording should happen. It's very rare that does happen, but there's no conspiracy.
Cool. Right.
Full disclosure, I've got my hands up. Don't shoot.
Well, and I guess the thing of it is the guy that makes the case for that and comes in here so strong, he sounds very eloquent, but he was really rude when the people of Idaho chose to vote that down for obviously good reasons. And if they read the book Sovereign Duty by Chris Ann Hall, it's on her website, I think more people will go for that as well. I mean, the Constitution is not the problem, and changing a few words in it isn't going to make them follow it any more than they are now. So I appreciate you doing that. So.
Well, we appreciate you, Holly.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you. Our great friend, Dr. Lamero, so patient with us. Good news about America, great news about America. The eternal optimist that called the Trump election when there were 17 candidates running for the GOP primary. Good morning, sir.
Hi, it's great to be back with you. I think you have a fantastic show, and I think you're a great host, too.
Well, it's all in the guests that we pick, so...
Well, I'm glad I'm helping.
You certainly are. First and foremost, if people want a insightful, optimistic view of America, what can they do to find your work and to read about what you're doing, what you're up to, and more importantly, your objective, honest, and accurate analysis of the state of America?
Well, first off, you can always go to Great News for America. Believe it or not, I have over 150 web pages, which is a pretty healthy site. And there's a tremendous amount of material there that I've written over the years and that. I also do a blog every week that's on that website. Unless I miss it, occasionally I travel or something. But usually I write a blog every week. And then the other thing is I have 5 books right now on Amazon, in Kindle, and in print. And the newest book is More Great News for America, which looks ahead for the next year or two and tells what I think are more good things that are about to happen. So it's More Great News for America, the name of the book, and it's selling well.
Well, what do you say to people that believe the election of Donald Trump is the beginning of the end of America?
Well, I say go back to 1896. They thought that election of William McKinley was the end of America, too. And we have this happen every so often where people get upset with change. And there is a change going on. It's a sea change. It's going from big government to smaller government. It's going from more liberal, progressive, socialist policies that have been more or less in effect for the last few decades into a much more conservative era that we have moved into. The Supreme Court is just part of it. You know, we're going to get Brett Kavanaugh. He's going to win by about 55 votes, it looks like right now. He's going to be taking his office in the beginning of October. and he's going to add to the conservative supermajority that's building on the Supreme Court. That's going to move our country in a conservative manner, too.
And yet, Dr. Lamero, we have the acolytes in the media, the Democratic Party, that continue to want to push us back to Obama's America.
Well, dinosaurs are that way. They want to go backwards. They would love to have the days where the media controlled the news narrative. And when I say the media, I'm talking about people like the TV networks, the major TV networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, the New York Times, the Washington Post, that they basically controlled the political agenda, the discussion, the debate. They have lost that. Their business models are broken. You see ABC News headquarters is apparently closing down. Lots of different editorial positions have been eliminated. Why? Because the American people don't buy the stuff they're saying, and when they don't buy it intellectually in their head, they also don't buy it in print, or they don't listen as much. So readership, viewership, all of that's on the way down. What's on the way up are talk radio shows like yourself and others that are great. I think the smartest people I meet in America are talk radio show hosts. They are just terrific around the country. You are, obviously, but a lot of others are very smart individuals with very great insight into the country. People are listening to you. They're also listening to some website. Drudge gets enormous amount of, readership, and others. So that's what's happening, and I think the people in the media just don't want to let go. Nobody wants to find their power shrinking, and their power is shrinking.
Dr. Lamero joining us, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. But Dr. Lamero, you're an author, you're an analyst, you're a media personality. You don't take things personally. Why do these folks like Chuck Todd or Stephanopoulos or Jim Acosta seem to take this personally? It's their profession to kind of give and take. It's their profession. It's as if they can dish it out, but they can't seem to take it, sir.
Well, I think they've lost their profession. I mean, they were supposed to be journalists, and journalists have tried to be objective. I try to be objective. I try to be a numbers guy. I'm conservative. I will not argue with that. That's my personal opinions. But I try to read the numbers honestly. Right now, unemployment's around 3.9%. Our gross domestic product, we now know, is up to 4.1%. Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas has predicted it's going to go up to 5.8% GDP growth. So I try to look at the numbers. The numbers are good. A lot of trends are good. The trends are recognized by looking at the numbers underlying them. There's an optimism in the country. Our optimism is very high. Hispanic job employment is great. Black unemployment is the best it's ever been in recorded time. Women are better in terms of their economic outlook than they've ever been in the history of the U.S. and for the last 100 years that they've kept statistics or so. So the numbers look great. That's why I'm optimistic. I think they're unhappy because I really think that they saw their position as sort of like directing the country and leading the country, but people aren't following them. That's their problem, and they know it. And also, if you look at the election results, House, the Senate, governorship, state legislative bodies, obviously the White House, they're not winning in any of these places, and instead of going along with the American people and becoming more conservative, they are doing the opposite, and so they're getting rejected at election after election.
Dr. Lamero, again, your website for people that want to get your book, your insight, your blogs?
GreatNewsForAmerica.com, all one word, GreatNewsForAmerica.com. The latest book, More Great News for America, it's selling really well, and it's really an optimistic look at the future.
So let's put you on the spot. Your prediction on the midterms.
Oh, that's easy. That's not putting me on the spot. The answer is the House. The Republicans will lose a number of seats, but they're going to retain control, and it's going to be a much more conservative House, which is going to be much more pro-Trump. It's going to be easier for Trump to get things passed. In the Senate, right now, it looks like the Republicans will have 57 to 60 seats in the Senate. It's going to be much more conservative also, and it's going to be rock solid Republican. The Democrats are losing seats left and right.
Dr. Lamero, a little bit more insight into when Brett Kavanaugh goes on the Supreme Court. What does that mean? We have the liberal loons going, it's the end of everything. How does that change America?
Well, it means that we're going to follow the Constitution a little more closely. Brett Kavanaugh is a conservative, and by that we mean he's an originalist. He believes in the original Constitution and more or less following the Constitution as it's written. He does believe in precedent. He doesn't overturn precedent easily. A lot of people who are pro-choice and that are worried about Roe v. Wade. He could overturn it, but he would only overturn it if he has sufficient evidence in a case. So he does not make law. He will not try to impose his conservative opinions, because I think he's a conservative in terms of his own personal temperament. He will add to the conservative nature of the court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg told us yesterday that she's going to stay another 5 years at least until she's 90. I think she's trying to outlast Trump. But you know what? I wish her well health-wise, but I personally think she might as well retire because they keep saying she's falling asleep during oral arguments, which I think means it's time to retire. But more than that, she's not going to outlast Trump because Trump will be reelected. My forecast now for 2020 election has Trump with over 350 electoral votes.
Who do you have him going up against?
That is one of the toughest questions there are. There's a little bit of randomness there. What may surprise you, you may drop the microphone, but I think there's an outside chance Mitt Romney will run against him. Believe it or not.
Really? Why would you say that?
Well, it's one of Trump's greatest opponents. He really is against Trump. He will probably, continue to have stature in the United States. Most of the Democrats are being rejected by the Democratic Party. People don't really want Hillary again. They don't want the same old faces. Even Bernie Sanders probably doesn't have enough strength to get. I think he would have been nominated in 2016 if there weren't super delegates. But now I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And there are not enough socialists to put him on the Socialist USA Party or something like that. I just think the Democrats have run out of people, and Ocasio-Cortez certainly wouldn't win if she could get nominated. That's the lady.
Well, of course
she's
right, but she's too young. She's too young anyway.
Yeah, that's true too. But she wanted to run for president.
Well, don't we all, Dr. Lamero?
No, most people don't. Most people don't want to take on that job. But at any rate, yeah, she would have to wait until she's has the age appropriateness. So at any rate, I think it's going to be probably somebody we don't expect. I don't think it's any of the names. And by the way, 2 years before a presidential election, it's rare for the front runner on the opposing party to have picked their candidate. Because usually remember, we used to think it was going to be Jeb Bush, 2 years before 2016.
Yes, sir.
And
right.
If you go back, George Romney, other people, they were the foregone conclusion, and none of the foregone conclusions became president. So that's why I think the ones you think who are a lead now aren't. I looked at the poll that said Biden. Yesterday they said Biden is ahead of Trump. I looked at the poll, and I really questioned their model. I do not buy their results because I don't think their model's correct.
Well, Dr. Lamero, it's nice to see in this world of endless millennials and everybody going younger that we've got some people with some miles on the odometer at the wheel, whether it's the president, whether it's Biden or anybody else. Dr. Lamero, one more time, if people want to get your book, get your information, we so appreciate you. What can they do?
GreatNewsForAmerica.com is my website. They can read it, and they can buy the newest book, More Great News for America, which is in Kindle and also in print edition at Amazon. Plus, you can buy it anywhere else you really want it.
Dr. Lamero, Don't be a stranger. We appreciate you, brother.
Oh, well, just invite me. You know, I talk. Have Mike. We'll talk.
Thank you, sir.
You betcha. Have a great day. God bless you.
God bless you. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Segment of the Mayor's Office Economic Development here in Caldwell. And Bev Williamson once again to talk a little bit about the city of Caldwell and, of course, I don't know, something about wine, right? Right, we're going to get to that. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me. This is awesome.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. I had you scheduled at 6.
Yeah, I don't like to get up that early. There's horses to be rode at 6 a.m., so.
Sure. Well, it's all about priorities. I totally understand
It's true.
We hear so much about the Treasure Valley growing so much. How has that impacted Caldwell?
Oh, my gosh. You know, the growth in Treasure Valley can be seen, I mean, literally from Caldwell to Boise, and Caldwell wanted a little piece of that. And by creating this premier gathering space in downtown, we're creating something that's unique for people to come to and something that they can't get somewhere else. And it's really at the beginning stages of that, but we're seeing so many calls in the last few months on we want to be a part of it and how do we get in on this, and it's awesome.
I would say it's a good problem to have. In the old days, at least how I would think of economic development is that you would, try to get a business and then jobs and that sort of thing. Has that changed at all, considering people are looking for experiences, quality of life, where to live, and they can pretty much work from anywhere.
Yep.
So really, the experience of where they live is a motivating factor.
Yeah, that's totally spot on. The city has had Steve Foltz as economic development director. He was part of their economic development corporation that was private from the city for a long time. He's, I think, been with the city for like 15 to 20 years. And that was the mentality. They were like, just bring the jobs, bring the people. And there was a quick switch. The light kind of turned on, and businesses and corporations were bringing their wives and their friends to the community saying, hey, this is the downtown. What do you think? And we were losing some people. And so the city, I think, was really proactive in saying, hey, we're going to hire an economic development specialist to really do our recruitment for downtown and foster this environment that is creative for people. And it's making a huge difference. West Valley Medical Center is one of our partners. College of Idaho is one of our partners. All of them, they've all stressed how important having this active environment is to them.
Sure, and we'll talk about the city and partnering with wine in a minute. Otherwise, it won't be good for us. See, I look at the Treasure Valley, and our show is, although we're based in Boise, it is the entire Treasure Valley.
Yeah.
And it always, again, my own personal bias when people say, well, I live in Boise, and they live in Caldwell or Meridian or what have you, and it really is an entire area, especially here in the West Valley. It's almost one of the better kept secrets that you would like not to be a secret anymore.
It's true. Sometimes I wonder what we're doing, because I am a native of Caldwell, and I was like, let's attract tourists to come in and check out our city and then go home.
Right.
And that takes us back to the wine trail and really what they're doing with getting tourism. And they've got over 50,000 people that come through every year. And Caldwell does not want to be the gateway to the wine country. We want to be the home of the wine country. And Indian Creek Plaza is going to be that trailhead. Our downtown will be. We want people to start and end their day in downtown and get out and enjoy the wine country during the day. It's an awesome marriage.
It's a great magnet for the city.
Oh, it's huge.
Indeed.
Yep.
I don't even have to ask you a question. I'll just point at you, and you go, Beth.
Well, one of the things that Carrie has helped us over the years is helping us find ways to use our limited resources to get more bang for our buck. And we've been able to market outside of our region because of what Carrie and Destination Caldwell has done for us. And I just want to point out that we're really excited that while we were sold out for the festival this year, we see people coming in from Colorado, from Montana. We have somebody coming in from Minneapolis. We have a couple tickets that were purchased in California. I mean, I think there was at least 25 out-of-state tickets out of 500. That, to me, well, it's not a big percentage. It's a giant increase from out-of-state tickets from last year.
Sure.
That means that not only is our Idaho wine region more it's becoming more aware within the national scene, but people are wanting to come to Idaho, not just for wine, because there are other things to do down here, and Caldwell's going to be the place that's going to happen.
Right, and how do you answer when you say, hey, you're doing a show on Caldwell, what's to do? Well, we've talked about the wine. We talked about what's happening this weekend, the Sunny Slope Wine Trail Festival. What other activities are going on? As we've said throughout the program, to lure people from, Boise, and the world doesn't end at the city limits of Boise.
It's so true. So we have our brand new Lux Movie Theater, Lux Real Theater. It's a premium theater with 11 screens. Those guys have literally done an amazing job, but you can get that anywhere, but the experience here is pretty incredible. It's brand new. We've got our Indian Creek Steakhouse, which is the only steakhouse that cooks on an open flame. And they also work with our local orchards.
Plus, the interior is really unique, very Western.
It's awesome.
Yes.
It is
Great
definitely
food.
an experience. We've got like the Flying M. I know you can get that at other places, but they put a local touch on it, and they have just been doing a stellar job here in our community.
It's hopping here today. Like, it's amazing to see all these people coming through.
It is. And then we've got the Bird Stop downtown. They just reopened. They've got 30 beers on tap. They've got incredible hamburgers and salads.
I hear there's a hotel coming in.
We do. We're working really hard on. We just passed. We called it the Creekside Redevelopment Request for Proposals. The Gardner Company responded, and they have proposed to build a boutique hotel with a couple of other buildings that would be next to it on the creek. It would be a mixed-use building with retail and commercial, and I really hope, fingers crossed, residential. We really need that. Another cool thing, we've got a sushi bar coming to Caldwell. Which
Wait a minute. Indian Creek Steakhouse, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Now, sushi in Caldwell, is that a sign of progress or the apocalypse?
It's insane. I am with you. I tell everyone, I'm like, are you kidding me?
There's all
Sushi
these
in Caldwell?
fishermen who live around here. Why wouldn't you want to
I
eat
love
sushi?
this. Breaking news, sushi in Caldwell.
It is. It's going to be She Sushi Bar, so SHI. And in addition, because I was like, well, I'm not a huge sushi fan. She's like, I'll get you. She says, but yeah, she's doing rice and noodle bowls as well, and it's just going to be awesome.
It is. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
Just come check us out. Make sure our ice skating ribbon, like this winter, if you haven't been to our Winter Wonderland, it is so incredible. And adding in the ice skating and 7th in the nation, like ice skating track, we call it a ribbon. It will literally provide an unreal experience that you're going to come back for over and over again this winter.
It's a great activity for families.
Well, I really like the idea of this hotel coming in because you want to do a staycation.
Yes.
Traveling those endless miles from Boise or Mountain Home or what have you, and you can get away without really getting away.
It's true. Yeah. We can't wait. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Anything else, Bev?
No, I just want to thanks again. I appreciate everyone who's come out to support us for the festival. I'm really glad that we've sold out. You can still come get your designated driver tickets if you want to just see the experience. You get a bottle of water with that. So you're not necessarily completely out if you don't already have a ticket. But I know there's a couple of tickets that you guys are giving away. So if people call in, they still have a chance.
All right. Well, thank you both. We appreciate it. Traffic and weather together. KIDO 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning. Time to find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
All right, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. We are back here in Caldwell. Pat from Middleton, the international playboy, joining us now, along with Terry from State College, Pennsylvania. Gentlemen, good to have you here. And hold on, let's get the microphones on if we can get rolling here.
He's texting back there. You're a calm guy.
You got to get a little closer. We still don't have your mic on. Go ahead.
Hello, Kevin.
Thank you, Logan.
There we go. Good to have you guys here.
Thank you for having us
Thank
here.
you.
Thanks for coming close to my neck of the woods.
Something's wrong with his mic here. Terry, we'll talk a little to you this morning. Your thoughts on the president.
Are you doing that on purpose?
There we go. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay. Can I do my job here?
Sure.
Yes.
Dead air. Keep going.
Roll with it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Okay, phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's pod their microphones down. Logan, We'll give them a timeout, and when they're good boys, we will hear from them. If you're interested in some of the stories we're talking about, you've got the head coach of Ohio State, Urban Meyer, possibly getting the boot, and all the libs on sports media saying that he should. If you don't know the story, let's take a listen from our own Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio on KIDO Talk Radio.
Coach Urban Meyer has been placed on paid administrative leave by Ohio State while it looks into claims that his wife knew about allegations of abuse against former Buckeyes assistant Zach Smith, who was fired last week. Smith's ex-wife Courtney says she told Shelley Meyer in 2015 that Zach Smith had assaulted her. Courtney Smith says Shelley told her she would tell her husband Urban Meyer, but doesn't know if she ever did. Ohio State is investigating what the coach knew and when, and he could lose his job over it. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
More on that in a minute. Let's go to Jim in Meridian, who's been so patient for holding on so long. Jim, I apologize to you. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
That's all right, Kevin. You know, Dr. Lamero was correct. The smartest people are putting out talk radio, and definitely the smartest people are listening to talk radio.
I agree.
I wanted to thank you for putting on the guest, Mr. Oliver, with the history, because we definitely need that. The parents need it, the homeschoolers and high school students who are getting only the politically correct version of American history. And I guess his site was, is it truehistoryamerica.us, something like that? I haven't looked it up.
No worries. I've got it right here, trueamericanhistory.us.
Yes, thank you. And I was wondering how many on his list, he said he had a list of 100, were Idaho events. How many people are aware that there were some terrible massacres around here, nearby, of the white pioneer travelers who were going through this area? In fact, one in Canyon County was the Ward Massacre, and there's a monument, there's a plaque for that over in Middleton at the site of where the Ward Massacre happened. And another one was the Utter disaster. It's spelled U-T-T-E-R. The Utter family, or the Utter disaster, they were all wiped out except, I think, one or two of the children. And that one a little bit southeast of Canyon, maybe that was Hawaii County. They were down by the river. They were crossing through Idaho, you know, along the river down there. And those two, Caxton Printers in Caldwell has put out some books on these subjects. And for the high schoolers out there interested in history, or the homeschooling parents, it would be good to look those up and get the real version of American history. The third one, for me, relates to Minidoka and the relocation of the Japanese during World War II. That story has been totally misrepresented and skewed in that they always say the bad white people relocated all of the Japanese Americans, and that's just not correct. Over 40,000 were not American citizens. They were enemy aliens, and when you have that many out of 112,000 initially, over 40,000, you've got to do something with them. I mean, the War Department had declared the coast a combat zone, and so you remove civilians from a combat zone because everybody was afraid of invasion. There was a realistic possibility of invasion at that time. In early 1942, we were in a two-front war and losing. We were in a two-front war and losing right after Pearl Harbor. Now, there's a lot more to that story. So I'd recommend the high schoolers out there, if they're interested in history especially, look into it. There are two books I'd recommend. One is World War II Japanese Relocation Camps, and the WRA, which stands for War Relocation Authority, A Prudent Emergency Wartime Measure. That's one book. And the other is The Bad War, which is about all of World War II and its causes and the things that happened. It's like a complete text on World War II, The Bad War, by M.S. King, K-I-N-G, M.S. King. So I appreciate you having that guest on, and that's a thing that's really needed, especially by the homeschoolers and the high school students who are in the public schools.
Jim, we appreciate you listening to KIDO Talk Radio. We'll continue to give you those type of guests and that type of information.
Terrific. Great job. Thank you there, Kevin.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll go back to our two in studio or at the coffee shop here guests. Hopefully they'll be more amenable to providing some content as opposed to let's verbally smack the host.
Well, how about we go check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2, 3? Are the microphones working?
See, everybody's a critic. Let's go to the International Playboy. Playboy, what have you been up to?
Well, Kevin, I've been dealing with this hot weather.
Right. You, the first thing you wanted to do was
Smack you.
smack me, insult me, ridicule me.
You've listed every
This is-
profession out there.
This is how you show your affection. Is that correct?
I show you because I love you, but I want to keep you honest.
Huggy, huggy.
You know, you mentioned every single profession out there. I drive in a truck with no air conditioning because I don't want to get sick. And it's summertime, and I got
The
to
air
work out.
conditioning makes you sick.
Yeah, if you go in and out of a cold car, then out in the heat again, you can get sick real bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier to deal with the temperature. I'm like the frog in the boiling water. You start out warm, and you just keep boiling me till I die. That's about where I'm at today.
How's about that for your breakfast? Picturing Pat as a giant frog boiling to death.
Better than a big turkey.
Touche. So what would you like to correct me on?
Well, because you mentioned every single profession out there working, and I think you did this on purpose to draw me out, thinking I'd call you.
Always a conspiracy,
But
isn't it?
always a conspiracy.
Always.
But at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm out trying to get lawns mowed and stuff before it gets too hot.
Yeah, I'm sure people appreciate you mowing their lawn at 6:15.
They don't, but that's
Right.
okay. I
Right,
tell them to
because-
call you.
because that would inconvenience you, right? Yes, that would inconvenience.
No,
you.
it's my drive time to the job. So
Okay, back to you, Pat, because it's
back
all
to,
about
it's
you.
all about me. It's all
Yes.
about me.
Never mind Terry, the side order of fries. Go ahead, please.
Well, he has a side order of fries, but then I'm a big tub of lard.
you're
so
a Big Mac.
I'm a Big Mac. Yes.
By the
and that-
way, if you
I
go
hear
to-
I'm free tomorrow.
Right. If you go to McDonald's and buy a Big Mac, they'll give you a Big Mac coin. 50 years of the Big Mac. But anyway, back to you, Mac.
Back to me. Well, it is hot out there, but if you
You
just
know,
stay-
I didn't know that. This is insightful comment. This is why this show continues to
Look,
get
how would
great
you know-
ratings and win awards because of that insightful, intelligent comment that you can't get anywhere else. It's hot outside.
Look, it's coming into your weather time here pretty soon. In a couple months, it'll be cold enough for you to get out and enjoy the sun. Well, the darkness.
Yes, so I'm sorry. Back to you. You feel and your entire workforce feel underappreciated, underrecognized by.
Not once did you mention landscape profession, at least that I heard this whole week. It's been every single carpet layers, roofers. Now roofers have it hot, but you didn't mention landscapers or even me once, and it's all about me. Remember that.
Terry, your thoughts.
My thoughts are a little off to the right here. I want to start a new program where we could collect monies for Liberal Steve to get him new counseling.
Actually, Terry, I wanted you to comment on Pat's comments, not try and sidetrack the show. God bless us. Everybody seems to have their own agenda except the one that we're trying to talk about.
Lawn care,
By the way,
roofing.
if you want to save me from this, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Terry?
Lawn care, roofing, blacktop. Those are difficult professions. And I don't know many people that stand up to them for a long period of time in their life. Many people have a short-lived career in any one of those businesses.
30 years out there doing it.
Whew. You know,
11 years.
I commend that person.
11 years in Palm Springs at 100 plus for 7 months.
Well, thanks, Pat. But we do want to salute all the people that are working outside. Now, you're a little disappointed that your two favorite people aren't here, Tea Party Bob and Liberal Steve.
Well, like I said, I mean, it really struck a nerve of passion with me just thinking of Liberal Steve, for instance, where I think we need to start a donation box for him where we can get him some more advanced counseling. It would be good for him.
What about Tea Party Bob?
He's kind of like in that one Hobbit movie where he's just going to fade off into the sunset like the elves or
Are
something.
you calling him a hobbit?
No, I just think
You
that...
just called Tea Party Bob a hobbit.
I-
Pat, did he call Tea Party Bob a hobbit?
It sounded like you called him a hobbit to me.
More next, KIDO Talk Radio. And don't forget Glenn Beck coming up next. In addition to that, Dave Ramsey, Sean Hannity, Lars Larson. We're joined by Terry from State College, Pennsylvania, and Pat from Middleton. Pat, you wanted to say something?
Yes, it's the time for the Bob Neviger show, right? That segment of his show.
Joining us now is Tea Party Bob on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kevin. You need to get a bigger budget to pay your guests if all you can afford is Pat and Terry.
Well, it's we're fiscal conservatives when it comes to the selection of guests on this show. You get what you pay for.
Well, it's nice to see you on the road again and going to the growing suburban areas. We have so many places in the Treasure Valley to visit. I don't know why everyone tries to make Boise as the center of attraction. Sorry I was unable to join you this morning. By the way, is the coffee actually better than mine?
Well, you're not here, so yes.
Well, I'm going to be out there later. Just a quick comment on Mr. Oliver in American history. We have had a growing problem in our schools for years when it comes to what our children are being taught, especially when it comes to American history, because the parents have very little or no say anymore in the books or the curriculum taught in our schools. You know, we need to get the parents to re-engage with their local boards and start attending the meetings to find out just what is being taught in our schools.
Well, but that's easier said than done, and you saw that with your own experience with the Meridian School Board.
Oh, it's difficult. It's difficult, but it can be done. But people have to pay attention, and they have to be charged up to go out there and do that. You know, if we don't change the content on what's being taught in our schools, we will have more disinformation pumped into our children, who are really our future. If you don't think socialism is a problem, think again, because that's what they're being taught.
Well,
and it's
it's dangerous. The guests here say you're not very compelling.
Yeah, well, neither are they.
Well, I guess that makes four of us.
Better lumps on a log.
Better lumps on a log than Terry or Pat from Middleton. Do you want to respond at all?
Friedel D.
Gollum.
You're calling him a hobbit. Oh, by the way, Terry called you a hobbit.
Hey, listen, you know, he can call me whatever he wants. That's up to him. That's what they call freedom of speech, which is
Pat,
not allowed anymore.
do you have anything to say?
Bob, I think you're a tall Yoda.
So you're
Yoda he is.
Now, why are you personally attacking Tea Party Bob?
I love Bob. I just love to give him a hard time. I just want to know why he's not out here.
He's the only New Yorker we have. Come on, we got to go with it.
I've got to be out there a little later.
Emulate.
It would have been a long day for me to be out there for 5 hours.
Tea Party Bob, JeffStatePatriot.com. We miss you.
You have a great day today, gentlemen.
Oh, it's great. Thank you, Tea Party Bob.
I couldn't hear anything.
Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio. And here we are at the Flying M Coffee Shop in Caldwell. I do want to thank everybody for having us here and urge folks to come out to the Sunny Slope Wine Trail Festival this weekend tomorrow. Maybe you can see Pat or Terry or somebody else. Any final thoughts?
Well, you know, this plaza, since it's been here, has been very busy, and it's been good to see. The downtown's been bustling. I've been down here a couple times at the Indian Creek Steakhouse, and it's even been packed there. So Bird Stop's open. Come on down, have a good time.
Shocking that you would be at the Indian Creek Steakhouse.
Oh, it's meat.
Terry?
Well, as a retired master mason, I love the history here because I did a lot of historical restoration. And I think what they're doing absolutely is a needed boost for America itself, let alone for Idaho. I mean, they're making it look beautiful, and I think that's very important that we have pride, in our history.
Pride in our history, pride in our country. Glenn Beck is next. Ray Maya, great job as always. Logan, George, thank you very much for a great job. Good day, God bless, and keep the faith, everyone.
See you, Kevin.